What is up? Welcome, students of Riverwood and beyond, to Sunday Morning Live. We are so glad you guys have clicked in this morning, and we're coming to you live from the Student Center this morning. And so we would have obviously loved to be with you in person. We love getting to see you on Sunday mornings. But for the times that we're not able to be together, we're going to be together this way. We're going to come to you live from the Student Center to stay connected during this time. And so we're just trying something new, and we're so glad that you are joining us. And so, hey, if you are joining us and you're not already signed into your YouTube account, we want you to sign in, click in. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube account. So we want you to sign in because we're going to be generating some comments in the comment section, and we want to interact together. You know, when we're here on Sunday mornings, we say hi to each other, we interact, we see how each other are doing. Even when we teach, we ask questions and we get responses. Since we're doing this live on YouTube, we're not really able to do that. But we do want to generate some comments in the comment section. So go ahead and sign in. Make sure you're logged in, and don't be shy to throw out some comments, to welcome each other and say hi. So I want to give a welcome to all students. I want to give a welcome to all student leaders and to everyone else who might be joining us this morning. Well, hey, if you haven't noticed, if you're familiar with Riverwood and you're familiar with me, you may notice something a little bit different today. There's something on my face. And I don't know if you've noticed what's on my face. Let's just go ahead and address the elephant in the room. This is the No Shave November mustache right there. You like that? It's coming in strong. So the story is every November for probably the past 10 years, I have tried to grow a beard, and it's a failed attempt every single year. I just can't do it. Like literally, I don't know what I would do if I was Amish. I just can't grow a beard. It's so bad. But every November, I try to see if this is the year. Maybe this is the year I can grow a beard. Well, with COVID-19, you know, you're not really supposed to be touching your face, right? And so to grow out a beard, it's just super itchy. So it's like, okay, I can't grow out a beard this year. I'm not going to do it. But what I can do is grow a mustache, because everywhere I go in public, I got one of these guys on, right? So nobody can see that I'm attempting to grow a mustache because it's covered up with a mask. But lo and behold, a couple weeks ago, we weren't able to meet in person, and now we're meeting online, and you get to see the beauty of the mustache. Now, feel free to comment in the comment section. Should the mustache stay? Which is obviously yes, or do you think the mustache has got to go? And I don't know about that opinion at all. I'm kind of a fan of the stash and leaving it for a while. So go ahead and throw your comments in the comment section about the stash. But again, welcome. If you have just joined us, we are live from Riverwood Student Ministries room here at the church, and we're coming to you. We're looking forward to connecting with you this morning. We're going to have a little bit of activity right now, and so I want to get your brains going a little bit. Again, we want to generate some comments in the comment section. We're going to be talking about what's better this morning. You're going to hear from Gary in just a little bit. He's going to bring an awesome message to you guys about someone who's better than even Nehemiah. And so this morning I want to get us thinking about what is better. I'm going to throw a couple things at you, and I want you to decide in your mind what is better. You can just decide it in your mind if you want, or if you have a moment, throw it in the comment section as well. And so here's the first thing. I'm curious. What is better? Is Halloween better or Thanksgiving better? If you had to choose between one of these two holidays, what would you choose? Which is better in your mind? This is a tough one for me. I don't get super into like costumes and Halloween stuff, although the candy's not bad. There is some definitely an element of fun with Halloween, a community feel. People are outside, you know, you get to see your neighbors more. I love that part of Halloween. But Thanksgiving, how do you go wrong with Thanksgiving? The food, the football, the turkey trots, the everything, like, you know, family time and all that. And I realize this year may be kind of different, right? And so I don't know. For me, I guess I'd probably prefer that Thanksgiving because, hey, you get days off of school, you get days off of work, right? You get a couple days off and you just get to be with family. So I don't know if I'm saying which is better. I'm going with Thanksgiving. But let me know in the comments what you guys think. Second scenario. All right, so this has been a hard one for me recently. Which is better, Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A? Raising Cane's or Chick-fil-A? Now, I must admit, I almost feel bad bringing this to you because historically I have been a Chick-fil-A fan. Like the Lord's chicken. The Lord has blessed this chicken, right? And so I've been a big Chick-fil-A fan. But I tell you what, Raising Cane's is starting to creep up for me. And it's really good, and it's in Kent, and it's worth the wait, and the sauce and the sweet tea is just amazing. So if you had to choose what is better between Chick-fil-A and Raising Cane's, what would you choose? What is the chicken champ of Northeast Ohio? See, I'll go ahead and share my opinion. I think Raising Cane's has definitely gotten closer and closer, but to me, Chick-fil-A still has that edge. I mean, they're the Lord's chicken, right? The Chick-fil-A sauce, they're closed on Sunday, so that's really good. You know, they respect the Sabbath day. Got to give them that. So I'm still going with Chick-fil-A, but they've made it a close race in my mind recently. Yes, Chick-fil-A, the Lord's chicken. Come on, not even close, Chick-fil-A. I agree with you, Mark Grissom, although I think it's closer than we realize. All right, so a lot of Chick-fil-A fans out there. Let me throw the third scenario at you. What is better? All right, so if you had a scenario where you had to choose between a 1969 Chevy Camaro and a 2014 Toyota Camry, what would you choose? There it is right there, a 1969 Chevy Camaro or a 2014 Toyota Camry. Let's say your parents came to you and they're like, we're going to buy you a car. Which car do you want? Let's see in the comments, all right? Would you get the Camaro or would you get the Camry? Now, I'm about to blow some of your minds. All right, I looked this up. This is no joke. If you were to put the Camaro against the Camry, 1969 versus 2014, on a 0 to 60 mile an hour challenge, guess which car is faster? It's the Toyota Camry. I know, right? A 2014 Toyota Camry could beat a Camaro from 1969. So you might want to reevaluate. Camaros are pretty awesome. We see a lot of Camaros, even a Camaro Bro from Peyton there, all right? I don't know, a Toyota Camry could beat it off the line. That's all I'm saying. All right, so what is better? We're going with scenario number 4. Okay, I'm going to put a delicious cheeseburger in front of your face, or I'm going to put a delicious taco in front of your face. The age-old American debate, cheeseburgers or tacos. What would you choose? Just in general, I'm not saying like specifically it's from Swenson's and from Taco Bell or whatever. Just in general, cheeseburger versus taco. So lots of burger fans. I see a lot of burger fans coming in. Wow, a lot of burgers. Okay, I don't know. Taco is so versatile though, right? You can have so many different toppings in it. You got the guac, you got pico de gallo, you can have beef, you can have carnitas, chicken, steak, you can have it all. So I don't know, but burger is looking like it's winning. All right, Madeline's got taco, so there's at least one taco fan on here. Which is better? All right, next scenario, number 5. Which is better? We're going to have some fights break out probably. All right, so Xbox versus PlayStation. Xbox versus PlayStation. Which system is better? Now, I have to admit, I am a ignorant fool when it comes to systems. We, the Miller family, own 0 systems at home. All of our video game entertainment comes from YouTube. So I literally know nothing about Xbox and PlayStation. Although I did own an original PlayStation, I owned a Sega Genesis back in the day, played a lot of Madden football, played a lot of hockey, Tony La Russa baseball in 1995, baby. But what do you, gamers out there, chime in. Xbox or PlayStation? I see Xbox from my wife, apparently. Christy is an Xbox fan. I had no idea. Joyce is Xbox. Got the Tawny family with Xboxes. Eric Davis out there with an Xbox. We got Caleb. Caleb's got PlayStation. All right, awesome. So lots and lots of Xbox fans. It looks like if we were taking a poll, that one is better. Last scenario to throw at you before we get into our next activity and game. So the next scenario is this. Let's say your parents come to you and they say, you get a new phone. Would you rather have an iPhone 11 or the original iPhone 1? Check it out here. Two images, the iPhone 11, look how massive that is, versus the iPhone 1, the very original that came out about 10 years ago. So this may be an obvious question, right? Like, which one is better? Obviously, technology has improved a lot over the past decade, and so we would probably choose that iPhone 11, right? And there's even another iPhone out now, too. I can't keep up. As soon as I get the latest technology, there's always something else out there. But is newer always better? Right? Maybe not always, is newer always better? We're going to be talking about this idea, so file it away in your brain. We're going to be talking about better things in the Bible this morning. Gary's going to talk to us. And so in this scenario, certainly we would say, yeah, the iPhone 11 is better than the iPhone 1. Also, if you've just chimed in and you missed that first couple minutes with us, just a reminder, I am growing out my stash. Check it out for No Shave November. And so the debate is out as to whether Stash Josh, right there, is Stash Josh better than No Stash Josh? I tend to have my opinion, and my kids and wife tend to have their opinion, and that those opinions are at odds with each other. But we're talking about what's better this morning, and I don't know. I think my lip is feeling a little less lonely this morning with the mustache. Well, hey guys, I'm loving seeing the comments come in. Let's go ahead and keep those comments coming because we're going to play a really fun game that we actually play on Wednesday nights with middle school students at middle school night. And the game is called Caption This. I'm going to put before you a image, a picture, and it is your job as a meme developer to caption this image. So here it is. Let's go ahead and see in the comments. I want you to take a real good look at this picture. And I want you to write up a one-sentence caption for this. If this image is going to go viral as a meme, what would the meme say? So you got to get those creative juices going, all right? So let's kind of depict the scene here. We have two hot dogs laying down. One is obviously in some pain, probably dead. With it looks to be ketchup. I don't know if you're a put ketchup on your hot dog fan or not. I know that's another debate out there. But we're going to get these comments in. We're going to award a winner. All right. So we want to see who can be the best captioner of this image here. Obviously, there's a stunned look from the hot dog this morning. Going back a few comments earlier, Stash is fire dog. Thank you, Peyton. I think I may be keeping that. So let's see your best captions. Oh, 2020 summed up in a photo. Not bad, Mark. Was that Mark? Who was that? Great job there. That was Marissa. Marissa, the 2020 summed up in a photo. We've got what movies will be like in 2050. Another day in 2020. Nice. Hot dog, hot dead. Nice. I like that. All right. Keep them coming. What's your best caption? Zone in, people. Zone in. Be creative. See, this is where looking up all those memes for hours a day, this is your chance to apply yourself. You've been doing research your whole life online for these moments to share with us your creative juice. When you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. That's a pretty good one there. All right. So I got Gary with me in the Student Center as well. And so, Gary, any thoughts on who wins here? Was not the imposter? Okay, that's a pretty good one for you Among Us fans. The day the dog died. Wow, this is hard to choose.
That's fine. I think that when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed.
Let's go with when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed. Jennifer Jewett, congratulations. You are the Caption This winner for the first round. But another round is coming. All right, everybody. So get ready for Caption This number 2. Here is the picture. Take it in. Take it all in. What is the caption for this picture right here? What a cute little dog there. Is that a pug? I don't know my dogs. I don't own a dog. I'm sorry, everybody. Everybody else in the world does. I don't own a dog. I think this is a pug wrapped in some sort of shawl or blanket. So let's hear your creative energy. What is the best caption for this picture? The day after Halloween watching Christmas movies. Fantastic. Can I hibernate for the rest of 2020? That's a good one. I don't know. You may be forced to hibernate soon, Marissa. So be careful what you wish for if we go into lockdown or something, right? I want to be Yoda for Halloween. I was wondering if there get some Yoda comments, some Star Wars comments. So I like that, Mark. Florida dog. This is the way. Yes, for all you Mandalorian fans. Good one, Gary. Baby Yoda's long lost brother. Oh, yes. Maybe this is The Mandalorian, the sequel. It's all about uniting Baby Yoda with this cute, adorable pug. Senior Photos 2020. Baby Yoda's long lost cousin. Yes. Ooh, some similar brainwaves going on with the Tawny family here. And what going back to school feels like. Yes. Just going back to school just kind of feels like this. All right, keep the comments coming. We're going to choose a winner here. I don't know. Let's see. Gary, you got an opinion on what we should choose here?
What do you think?
I think, you want me to choose?
You choose.
Okay, I'm going to choose this one. I think I'm going to like what going back to school feels like. What going back to school feels like right now. This kind of captures it. So Caleb, great job on that. That was round 3. Hey, we're going to go one more round. All right, so keep your creative juices flowing. We got one more Caption This. Here it is, people. Caption this. Make this a meme. Make it go viral. We want everyone in the world to look at your caption and die from laughing. Obviously, we have a distraught potato with some cut up, what looks to be future French fries. What is this potato saying? I love the comments, guys. I love that you guys have signed into your YouTube account. If you've just joined us, make sure you sign into your YouTube or Google account so you can chat with us on the side. We want to interact as much as possible. If you're not seeing those comments, just sign into your YouTube or your Gmail so that you can see the comments and so that we can see your comments. We want to be together. No, my brothers. Nice. Me eating my McDonald's French fries. Yes, ready to inhale. Nikali, brother? You good, bro? Yeah. I like that one too. Realizing that 2021 could be worse. Yes. I mean, there's no guarantee that it's getting better, right? Cannibalism. Yes, we are promoting that here. Cannibalism. So the potato is actually eating the French fries instead of being saddened over it. Okay, good interpretation there. My arms and legs have fallen off. You guys look fried. Nice, Gary. We're all falling apart. Yes. I feel like there's a song to that. Is there an 80s song that's falling apart? I can't remember. 2020 in a potato world. Can I have cheese and bacon on those? And seeing your family on Thanksgiving. You guys are awesome. All right, Gary, I'm going to make you choose this one.
I like You Good Bro.
You Good Bro. All right, You Good Bro.
Preston.
It is posted by Peyton, but is by Preston. So, Preston, congratulations. You get the 3rd trophy for the Caption This contest, which means absolutely nothing, but I guess you have bragging rights or something. I don't know. So thank you guys so much for playing Caption Challenge with us. Just wanted to get some interaction going at the beginning here. We are so glad that you are here for Sunday Morning Live. Again, we are coming to you right from the Student Center, and Gary and I are glad to be with you in this way. And so Gary has prepared for us a lesson straight from the Bible. And so I really encourage you to get out another device or pull up on a browser the Bible. Or get out a physical copy of the Bible. Have that next to you as we navigate this time together so that you can have a physical Bible open, or so that you can see the verses that he's talking about as well. And so open up that app or open up that browser. Get your Bible ready because we're going to need it as we gather together to again, explore what's better. Remember we talked about what is better? We're going to talk about something that's better as well. And so I'm going to go ahead and queue up and get Gary ready and up here. And so, Gary, welcome so much. Come on up, buddy, and lead us this morning.
We'll start off with this picture, partially to cover my entrance into the screen, and partially because this is what we'll be talking about a little bit at the beginning. We're introducing a new series and kind of finishing an old one as well. But if anyone can guess, you can throw in comments in the screen if you know where this is. These mountains in this background, I'll give some more clues as it goes on. I have been to this location. It is an incredible place to be. It's an incredible place to get to go to. It is a national park. It is south of another national park called Yellowstone. These are these incredible snow-peaked mountains. This is the Grand Tetons National Park, and it is an incredible place, and it's an incredible sight to see. And you hear that word, a picture is worth 1,000 words. So let's look at that picture again, and like you look at that picture and you're like, how could I have ever described to you guys how striking that is? Because it really is that flat all around those mountains, and then they just rise up like out of nowhere. But I'll tell you this, if you go there in person, so much better than seeing that photo. And so, you kind of have like this gradient, right? Like you have pictures are worth maybe this much. I mean, words are worth this much. Then the picture's worth this much. But being there in reality is, man, it's worth way more. So if picture's worth 1,000 words, being there in person is worth 10,000 words. And I think we feel that a lot in this time, right, that we're in right now. I mean, this is great that we get to interact with in these ways, but man, it would be great for us to get to be here together in person. But this is still a great thing, and it's better than just getting to hear each other. We get to see each other and interact and comment and have some fun together. I want to show another picture next. This one is a place my wife has been. I have never been here. And again, this is a place where if you're there in person, it is a completely different experience. So you can, again, throw your comments for guesses as to where this location is. It is not in our country. I will tell you that. So you can go ahead and throw out some comments if you think you know where this location might be. It is an amazing place. It is the border of two countries. And not that if you have been here, then you have been to South America. Any more guesses? Okay, so this is the Iguazu waterfalls. This is part of the border of Brazil and Argentina. And this site was so amazing to my wife when she saw it. She was in a place where she wasn't sure who God was. And this is one of the things that really convinced her that there was a God, was to see these waterfalls and see their magnificence and see how incredible they are. And it is an amazing sight. I wish I could go there in person to see it, because as I've seen the pictures, I've been amazed at how beautiful it is. This makes Niagara Falls look tiny. And this is kind of, we've been doing this as a way to kind of show, like, these pictures that we see, they're true, they're accurate, but they're not as great as the real thing, right? They're not as amazing or as magnificent as seeing these sights in real life. And we're going to do an Advent series. We're starting a little bit of a week early, but our Advent series is called True and Better. And why we're calling it that is because Jesus, long before he came, he was so much predicted that there were all these things going on and things that are happening that were looking towards Jesus' coming. And so if you look at this title slide, we have an easel with a painting of this picture of this tree. And that's an accurate picture of that picture, but it's not as great as the real thing. And ultimately we're saying that that's what it is like with Jesus. Jesus is the true and better. He's the true and better Moses. He's the true and better Adam, is one we talked about in the main church services, if you were there a couple weeks ago, how Jesus is like Adam, but he's greater than Adam. He's like Moses, but he's greater than Moses. And we see all these things over and over again, how Jesus fulfills and is the ultimate representation of these things that were happening beforehand. He's the true and better David. He's the true and better Emmanuel. And so these things were accurate pictures, but they weren't as great as the real thing. And Jesus even talks about himself in this way. And so this is on the day when, after he had been risen from the dead, he walked along a couple of his disciples on the road to Emmaus, and he said these lines to them. He said to them, "O foolish ones, and slow to heart to believe all that the prophets have spoken. Was it not necessary that the Christ should suffer these things and enter into his glory? And beginning with Moses and all the prophets, he interpreted to them in all the scriptures the things concerning himself." And so we see in this section, it says Moses and the prophets. That means all the Old Testament. And that he interpreted to them all the scriptures. So this is all the Old Testament. He looked throughout all of it, and he kept showing them all the things that were written about him. And so even though these things were written long before Jesus was born, his coming was predicted so long ago. And that's what really Advent is about. We're looking towards Jesus' coming. We're looking towards when he's going to appear. Advent means coming. That's what the word actually means. And this is the Advent season that we're about to enter. It actually starts next Sunday, but we're starting a week early because that's how we do it. And we're also kind of finishing Nehemiah. We were so close, high schoolers, to finishing Nehemiah together in person, but we're going to get to finish it right now, today, on this live stream. And then we're going to use that as a springboard into Advent, because Jesus is the true and better Nehemiah as well. And we'll see how that makes sense, that Jesus is the true and better Nehemiah. But Advent is actually this season, the season leading up to Christmas. We kind of consider that the Christmas season, and then we're like, okay, after Christmas, we're done with Christmas. But originally, and historically as a church, Advent's the season leading up to Christmas, and then Christmas is the season following Christmas Day, hence the 12 Days of Christmas song and everything. But we don't do it that way in America anyway. But so, Advent, true and better, that's our series that we're going into. Another way Jesus talks about this is that do not think that I have come to abolish the law of the prophets. So again, the Old Testament. Don't think I've come to abolish the Old Testament. Don't think that I've come to get rid of what the Jews were doing. I have not come to abolish them, but to fulfill them. And so we see this again. Jesus is saying, I'm here to fulfill everything. All this was looking forward to me. All this was looking at my coming. And I'm here to be the reality. This was it was an accurate picture, but the real thing is here. Those were a shadow. Those were a picture, but now you have the reality. I am God. I am the way, the truth, and the life. No one comes to the Father except through me. Like, all these things were testifying to Jesus, and now we get to see the reality. We get to experience Jesus, and that's why it's such a time of celebration. This Advent season and this Christmas season is because we get to remember what it was like when Jesus wasn't here, and to celebrate the reality that he is here now. And so we're going to go back into Nehemiah, and I wanted to bring up this next slide to kind of remind us of where Nehemiah falls in the story. This is kind of a walkthrough of the whole Bible story, starting with in the beginning and ending with all things new. So we start with creation, we end with recreation, where everything is new. There's a new heaven, there's a new earth, new people of God. It's amazing. But in the middle there, you see those top two goes from top to bottom, from Old to New Testament. So the top two are Old Testament, the bottom two are New Testament. And Nehemiah falls right in that last part of the Old Testament, a people restored. So after God created the world and he called Abraham And eventually the Jewish people came through Abraham, and they were eventually enslaved into Egypt. They came out of Egypt. They went into the promised land. They got a kingdom. The kingdom got divided. They went after other gods. They worshiped other gods. They were exiled and sent away. And then finally they were restored. And that's where Nehemiah falls, right in that people restored. So we're in this moment where people have begun to be restored. People have begun to become back to God in Nehemiah. Israel has been settled again. People are living in Israel. The temple is there. But Nehemiah hears a report. And he hears a report that the walls have been broken down. And that really means in that time, that's horrible. That means that there's no safety. There's no security. There's no peace. Only the only people are going to live there are people that are okay with risking their lives or have nowhere else to go. And so he's brokenhearted over this. And he's away. He's far away in Susa. And I think it's Susa. But he's far away, either way, from Israel, from Jerusalem. And as he hears this report, and he prays, and he takes action, because he has a role. He has an important role within this Persian Empire, the empire that had control of the Jewish people at the time. And he's the cupbearer to the king, who's really the emperor. And he goes before him. He risks his life to talk to the king. And the king says, yeah, you can go back. You can rebuild the walls. And so Nehemiah has a couple big themes. A lot of people really think of this building of the wall as the big part of it. And that's definitely a theme in Nehemiah. And it's really the theme for the first half of the book. The second theme is really the restoration of the people, which is more the second part of the book. But really the first part is to get to the second part. This is what God is really after in the book of Nehemiah. This is really what he's trying to do. The restoration of the walls happens in order to restore the people. And throughout the book of Nehemiah, you see so many problems, so many issues going on. He's got people who are outside of Israel that are mad, that are angry. Sanballat, Tobiah, Geshem, these people that are trying to stop what Nehemiah is doing, stop him from building the wall, stop this project, because they don't want Israel back. They don't want another nation there. And they don't believe in God. They have their own gods. They don't want to follow after this other God. They want it to stay deserted. They want it not to be inhabited. And so he's dealing with those people. Then he's dealing with Jewish people that are reluctant to do the work, or they don't want to invest in the project, or they're abusing other Israelites by taking money from them they're not supposed to, or enslaving their fellow Israelites. It's crazy, but Nehemiah, he leads this crazy project. They build the wall. It's completed. And it's a time of celebration. It's a time of the community coming together, and they start to celebrate feasts they haven't celebrated in years. They start living life like God had intended them to live. They start practicing Sabbaths. They start loving each other and living and inhabiting the city, and new people are coming in every day. And it's this amazing scene. You see all these celebrations, times of confession where they recognize how far they've fallen, and they come back and come closer to God. And yet they still come to chapter 13. And that's where we're going to be today. And so before we get into the chapter 13, I want to pray with you guys, and then we can jump in together. Lord, thank you for this day. Guide us as we read your word. Speak to us through it, and use this time in all of our lives to make us more like you. In Jesus' name, amen. And so, like I said, all these great things have been happening. Nehemiah has rebuilt this culture. This people are being restored, and then we get to chapter 13, and we start to see problems and issues. Nehemiah goes away, and he comes back, and things aren't the way that he left them. First thing we see, one of those people that was opposing the project of building the wall, opposing the people, threatening Nehemiah's life, is living in the temple. He's living in the temple. He's living where God is supposed to be worshipped and celebrated. So not only are they neglecting worship, they're not really doing what they were supposed to do with that. They're letting people live there that were trying to stop it from ever happening, stop people from even living in Jerusalem, and try to kill Nehemiah. So Nehemiah kicks him out and restores that. Then he finds out they're not celebrating the Sabbath the right way. They're not stopping their rest. They're trading, they're buying, they're selling, they're doing work. No one's respecting the Sabbath, so he puts an end to that. And then we come to this section. And so I'm going to read it. You can follow along on the screen or on in a Bible, or And this section is really going to deal with the problem of intermarriage. We've talked about this a little bit as a high school group, but whoever wants to put in the comments, why is it a problem for the Jews to intermarry with people from other cultures? Why is it a problem for them to interact? What consequences would there have been from them interacting with people from other cultures? So again, Nehemiah chapter 13, verses 23 to 31. In those days, also I saw the Jews who had married women of Ashdod, Ammon, and Moab, and half their children spoke the language of Ashdod, and they could not speak the language of Judah, but only the language of each people. And this is the map on this next slide. It kind of shows where those areas are, just for people that are visual. So that the yellow star is Jerusalem. That's where Nehemiah and all the Israelites are. And then those red stars are where these other people are coming from. So they're close. They're very nearby people, but they're not from Israel or Judah, where the Jewish people are from. And then as we continues, this is what Nehemiah does. He says, "And I confronted them, and cursed them, and beat some of them, and pulled out their hair. And I made them take an oath in the name of God, saying, you shall not give your daughters to their sons, or take their daughters for your sons, or for yourselves. Did not Solomon, king of Israel, sin on account of such women? Among the many nations there was no king like him, and he was beloved by his God, and God made him king over all Israel. Nevertheless, foreign women made even him to sin. Shall we then listen to you and do all this great evil and act treacherously against our God by marrying foreign women?" And one of the sons of Jehoiada, the son of Elishib, the high priest, was the son-in-law of Sanballat the Horonite. Therefore I chased him from me. Remember them, O my God, because they have desecrated the priesthood and the covenant of the priesthood and the Levites. Thus I cleansed from them everything foreign. I established the duties of the priests and the Levites, each in his work. And I provided for the wood offering at the appointed times and for the first fruits. Remember me, O my God, for good. Yeah, so it's not the happiest ending of the book. That's the last verse. That's how the book ends. You can go check your own Bible and read it yourself, but that's it. That's the end of the book of Nehemiah. You read that whole story, and there's the note of the ending of Nehemiah. And so it's not really the happiest note to end on. You see that he's begun. They restore the walls. The walls are finished, but even though the walls are built, the people are only partially restored. Because after they're restored, they go back and do the same things that they confessed. They neglect the Sabbath. They worship other gods. They go and they disrespect Nehemiah. They disrespect God. And Jennifer Jewett, that's right, like other gods. That's the real problem with marrying people from other cultures. It wasn't because God was against people from other cultures. Obviously, his heart is for all nations, and that's clear through in the Old Testament as well as the New Testament. But back then, it was in the Old Testament, it was all wrapped up in the Jewish culture. If you didn't know the language, and he talked about, they don't even know the language of Judah. They don't know how to speak that language. They couldn't have read the Bible or heard it read in their language and understood it, because the language was all in Hebrew. There wasn't as much translations then. If you wanted to read the Bible, you needed to be Jewish. If you wanted to follow God, you needed to be Jewish. This is even, we looked at Ruth a few months ago as a church, and Ruth becomes an Israelite to worship God. She's actually from one of the countries that is listed here in this passage that you shouldn't marry. But it was okay because she was willing to give up her God and give up her life and become Jewish. And that was the only way to follow after God. But these people weren't doing that. This was an intermarriage where they allowed their spouse to stay connected to their other God, stay connected to this culture that worshipped a whole other God. And so this was deadly because it was an affront to God and a transgression against him, because it was a way for them to be connected to worshiping other gods. And they said that this is even how Solomon was led astray. He was one of the greatest kings that Israel ever had, and this is what led him astray. And if you read his story, that is what led him astray. He had many wives from other cultures and other places, and he began to worship gods that were not the God of the universe. So it's a sad story, but it's a helpful story for us in that it reminds us the influence other people can have on our lives, especially romantic relationships, dating as well, not just marriage, but also friendships. There can be people that can really guide your thoughts, guide your actions by their influence in your life. So the question is like, who are those people in your life? You don't have to put that in the comments, but think about that. Who are those people that really guide your actions, guide your decisions, guide how you spend your time, and what motivates and guides your life? Because if they're not the people that are pushing you towards the worship of the one true God, they're probably going to be pulling you away from that. And that's the danger that Nehemiah is seeing and that he's confronting. And so let's talk a little bit more about this scene. We see a couple people in this last chapter that come back onto the scene. Sanballat the Horonite, Tobiah the Ammonite. This is an accurate picture of what they looked like, I heard from someone. I think that someone was me. But no, it's not really what they look like. But both of these guys are earlier in the book. They're threatening Nehemiah. They're mocking his work. They're trying to kill him. And they both show up in chapter 13 thanks to this guy, Eliashib, the high priest. Actually, his outfit is accurate. That's an artist rendering of what they think the high priest's garments actually looked like. But Eliashib is the high priest, so he's the main guy that's supposed to be teaching people about God, being a mediator between God and the people, helping people follow after God and worship him in the right way. And he is doing the exact opposite. He's going in the complete wrong direction. In this chapter alone, we see that he has given one of the guys a room in the temple, and his grandson is married to the daughter of the other one. So I have a chart that helps us to understand this. So Eliashib at the top left there, he gives Tobiah keys in a room at the temple, and then his grandson marries Sanballat's daughter. And so you might be thinking, oh, well, why is that Eliashib's problem? His grandson fell in love with the daughter of this guy. And it's not really usually that way at this time. Marriage was a family affair then. You even saw that in the passage, right? You will not give your daughters to be married. It's because arranged marriage was the way, and that is still the way in lots of other places in the world, not really here in America. There are still families that do that here in America, though, too. But arranged marriage was what it was. And so, like, the family is accountable. Eliashib is accountable for allowing his grandson to be married. And his grandson is a priest, too, because the priest, it was a bloodline thing. So here are the people that are supposed to be leading after God, and they're doing exactly what God said not to do. They're marrying foreign women. They're getting attached to other gods. And so we see the second part of what Nehemiah was trying to do, restore the people. And that's the main thing that he was trying to do. Didn't really happen. The wall was finished, but the people were only partially restored. The wall was finished, but the people were only partially restored. And so we see that Jesus is the true and better Nehemiah because he's the one who's really going to restore the people of God. Nehemiah couldn't do it because he couldn't change their hearts. He could stop the things that he saw were wrong, and he does. He restores the priesthood. He says, remember them, they messed up the priesthood. I got rid of them. I put people in charge that are going to change it and do it right. But again, the people went back, and he kept trying to do what he could. But he can't change hearts. Only Jesus can change our hearts. And only Jesus can fully restore us. Only Jesus can fully restore us. And what we see with Jesus is that he has to do it at a heart level. He has to transform us from the inside out. It's not about our actions changing. Our actions change because our heart has changed, not the other way around. As we give our lives over to Jesus, as we're willing to give up everything, he remakes us. We are born again. We have new life in Christ. And this is what our fall retreat was about. It's about being remade. It's about being transformed. It's about being changed. And Jesus needs to be the one to fully restore us. And he doesn't just restore us, he restores the people of God. You are not an individual body of Christ. God's relationship with you is not just personal, but it is communal. And this is even in there. In 1 Peter 2, it talks about how we are a holy nation, a people belonging to God, that we can declare his excellencies. And so this is an amazing opportunity to become part of the real, true people of God, to be restored to that as a group, as a community. And that's even what we're doing right now. We're doing this together because we're not meant to worship alone. We're meant to worship as one body, working together, using our different gifts, our different talents, our different abilities, and to be helping each other follow after God. The opposite of what these intermarriages were doing in pulling people away from God, and someone who's supposed to be following God and someone who's not clearly following another God. It's two people following God together instead. And it's actually a whole community. So this is what we're hoping to do. Whether we're together in person or we're far apart, we want to be influencing each other's lives towards Jesus, because he's the one who's going to fully restore us. And he has begun that work, and we are a part of it. And he is the true and the better Nehemiah, because he fully restores the people of God, and only Jesus can fully restore us. And so we give him our lives, we give him our everything. And so maybe there are things in your life that are pulling you away from God. And those are things we need to do. We need to take some time aside. So take some time aside. Think about, who are the people in your life that influence you the most? Are they pulling you away from God? Are they pulling you towards him? Are they helping you walk with the Lord? Or are they distracting you from it? Because this is what your life is for. This is who you were created for. This is what we exist to do, is to worship God. And so we got to be careful of who we choose to be in romantic relationships with, who we choose to be our close friends. We want to be influenced, and we want to love all those people around us. We want to be careful how much influence they have on us, depending on what they're aiming at. Because if they're not aiming at God, they're going to influence us away from him. And so that's a challenge from today. Let's take stock of our relationships. Who are the people in our lives that are helping us follow after Jesus? And if you don't have a lot of those relationships, think of who are people you can go after or talk to that can help you develop friendships like that. Develop relationships in your lives that can encourage that. And remind us of the true and better Nehemiah. Remind us of Jesus, the one who fully restores us, and the only one who can restore us. Let me pray. Lord, we thank you for this day. We thank you for your restoration, that it is full and it is complete, and that what Nehemiah couldn't do, you did do. What he left incomplete, you completed. And that you have created a new people, and you create new people every day. Lord, thank you for renewing us, making us new creations. Transform us, Lord. Continue to change us. Show us the things in our heart that are leading us astray. Show us if there's people or if there's things in our life that are a distraction or are pulling us away to worship other things. And let us instead worship you. Thank you for your restoration, Lord. Thank you for coming into this world and not leaving us to ourselves. In Jesus' name, amen. All right. Well, that is the end of the first ever Sunday Morning Live, SML, Student Ministries Live. Woo! We will be back here next week and every week until we can be back together in person.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for joining us. We love you guys, and we hope to see you soon.